Hello. Welcome. Oh, nice to see you. Lovely to see you. Oh, Jasmine, hello. Welcome. It's lovely to see you. Hello, Amber. Morning, Lynn. It's about afternoon, really, I suppose, isn't it? Oh, thank you, Amber. It's very nice of you to say hello. Oh, hello, Vicky. Oh, God, can't see. Hannah. Oh, hello, Hannah. Yeah, I'm really well. How are you? How are you, everyone? Are you all right? Are you enjoying this lovely weather if you're in the UK? I love it so much. I've just had my lunch outside. It's very nice. And when I've done my live, I'm going to go and read my book outside for a bit. So, oh, thank you, Lynn. Thank you. I tell you what, I had such a lovely holiday and I just love the warm weather. I love being in the sunshine. It just makes you feel alive, doesn't it? So, yeah. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. This is a different time to usual. So, oh, Amber, you watched some of my videos last night to send you to sleep. Oh, that's so cool. I love it. That's so cool. And Honey and Glass, hello. Amy, hello. I'm glad you made it. That's so nice. Oh, wow, Bridget, hello from New Zealand. That's so cool. Oh, so Lynette Santos, can you speak on agoraphobia? I will write that down because I know last time lots of people were asking about agoraphobia. So I've made a note. So Eva Jenner, hello from Wales. Hello, really nice to see you. It's lovely to have you here. My brother lives in Wales. He lives near Cardiff. Beautiful place. Kezia, hello. Oh, from Singapore. Primalara Jandran. Hello from Singapore. Oh, that's very exotic, very gorgeous. I've never been to Singapore, but my son was there recently. He spent a week in Singapore. So welcome. It's lovely to have you here. Who else have we got? I love seeing everyone here. Oh, Jasmine, you're working from home today. I'm really glad that you could make it too. That's one of the nice things about working from home, isn't it? That we can have a little sneaky, have a lunch break. We can have a lunch break and do other stuff. So let's have a look. Hannah Thomas, yes, I do remember you. I am. Thank you so much for letting me know that that you're here. Oops, yes, and I'm glad that you got the advice that I sent. So I hope you're all right. I hope you're doing okay. Welcome here, Alex. Hello, I don't know how to say your name. EL5Q. You're from Newcastle anyway. So welcome. That's nice to have you here. So Bridget says, are you able to talk about PTSD and panic attacks associated with it? So I'm not a big expert on PTSD. It's one of those areas that I would not say that I am massively knowledgeable about. I know about panic attacks. I tell you what I would say is that I do have a colleague, her name's Sharon Herbert, and she is really knowledgeable about panic attacks but about PTSD. She works a lot. So have a look at her, because I don't want to talk about stuff that I don't know fully about, because that's not going to help anyone if I'm guessing. Always, if people contact me and they say, oh, I've been diagnosed with PTSD, then I would usually say, let me recommend someone else who's really knowledgeable about this. So I'm really sorry to not be able to help you specifically there. But I hope you understand what I'm saying there. Yeah, thank you for the question anyway, Bridget. I will probably talk about panic attacks a bit later on, but yeah. Amzapsies says, what lipstick am I wearing? I'm wearing, this is from Tropic Skincare, and it's like a lip glaze, and I think it's, what's it called? Tropical something maybe? I'm not sure, sorry. They're lovely. They taste all kind of strawberry and they're vegan, so really nice. Hello Michelle from Scotland. Hello Steph. Not my birthday, but thanks anyway. Hello, Beard Bastard from Bolton. Hello. Oh, Mad Scarlet. I spoke to you not long ago. I had lots of anxiety about exams in school and I'm now finished. Yay! I'm so pleased. How did it go? I hope it went well. It's really nice. Really nice. Isn't it such a lovely feeling to have the summer ahead of you? And that's the thing is we get through this, don't we? When we have like it's like mountains in our pathway, like we have exams or we have tests or we have stuff that's going on in our life, we do get through it somehow. We survive. We just step by step we get through it, and that's the thing, isn't it? Just keep going. Apply some of the techniques of self-care that I talk about, and we do get through. And now look, you've got the whole summer ahead of you, which is so lovely. So I hope you do well. I hope you get good results. And if you don't get good results on results day, it's not the end of the world. You'll be all right, you know. So I saw Lynn. Lynn is so I want to say thank you. I really want this to be a safe space. It's a lovely community that we're beginning to build up on my page, and that's thanks greatly to the people, it's to you, the people who are there. And on my lives, I have a lovely team of moderators who help me. So I have Lynn 250, I have Jasmine Lake, I have Vicky Hodgson, I have Vicky Handlebars, and I have Zan Shin. And all of them come when they can, and they do amazing work to keep this a safe space, because we don't want anyone who's going to be negative or impatient or not understanding of people's issues on here. This is a kind space. So we have zero tolerance. Anyone's rude or anything like that, and then just bang, you will be gone. But thank you very much. Now Lynn has just asked, how's my son? My son, if you don't know, my son is travelling. He's 22 and he went backpacking in February, and he is he started Thailand, he went to Cambodia, he's been to Vietnam, he's been to Brunei, he's been to Singapore, he's been to, where's he now? He's in Bali. He's in Bali. He's having a lovely time. He did have, and I haven't mentioned this before, he did have a bit of an incident in Bali. It was when we were on holiday. It was a few weeks ago now, and actually he had his drink spiked when he was out, and he was robbed. And so he's fine, he's okay, and it could have been a lot worse. But they took his phone, they took all his money, they took his wallet, took his cards. You name it, they took it. And do you know when you're on holiday and if you've got kids, you'll know this. You get that phone call of they phone. I was out for a run at 6:30 in the morning, and then my phone went. I was like, "Oh, hello, are you all right?" And he went, "Mum, I'm okay, but do you know? Have you ever had those phone calls and your heart just goes, oh no, what's happened?" Anyway, so he told me. So it took a bit of working to get a new phone, to get new cards. Luckily, they didn't manage to get into any of his accounts, and physically he was okay, even though the spike sort of rendered him unconscious. So what was I going to say? Yeah, so it's amazing, isn't it, how, although that's like a bad thing, it really showed how amazing the people were around him. So the hotel he was staying at were amazing, and the friends, like someone bought him a new phone, someone looked after him, paying for food and everything until he got back up on his feet. So it's amazing how kind people are out there in the world. So all is well. Anyway, so let's have a little look at some questions. I'll stop waffling on about me, and I'll see. So let's start off. Yeah, Jasmine's right. We only mute people if they're being unkind. If you've got questions, you've got stuff to say, please get involved in a conversation, and I will. I love kittens. I don't know why people go backpacking by themselves. Well, I have to disagree. I think his evidence is that actually it's been amazing and really safe, and he's met a lot of really good friends. So it's just unfortunate. So yeah, he's with a lot of good people. Anyway, let me answer some questions. So agoraphobia, let me answer that question first. So agoraphobia is it's people understand it to be this thing where you can't go out and you're afraid of going out. What it actually means is fear of the marketplace, and it's a fear that it can be triggered by all sorts of things, and it's different for everybody. But what happens is that the world becomes a scarier and scarier and scarier place until you end up not being able to go out, potentially, you know, maybe being stuck in your house, maybe stuck in your bedroom. And there's all sorts of reasons for that. And everyone is different, so there'll be different trigger points. There will be a reason why someone's suffering from agoraphobia, and it's really worth going to chat with somebody, because by the time it gets to agoraphobia and you can't go out, you know, you've probably been experiencing it for quite a while. So I would say definitely go and reach out and talk to someone. Obviously the GP is the first place, because you might get lucky and you have a GP who's really good connections and have someone who they know will specialise in this and can really help you. The next thing you can do is look at reaching out to therapists, and maybe private therapists. So you can look for people that do sort of stuff I do. Hypnotherapy is really good for this. Counselling can be really good for this. It's all sorts of things, and it's about finding someone who you really click with. So talk to lots of people, and that what we want to do is we want to get you to a place where your nervous system understands that you are in fact safe, that you are okay, and we do that by creating an environment of safety. We do this by talking, but also the physical coping techniques that I share on my page, which are all free for you to go and have a look at and practice and find the ones that feel right for you. And this is not a thing that you just have I'll do this technique and I'm cured. This is a lifetime thing. All the stuff that I talk about really is for all of us, whether we're suffering from difficulties with our mental well-being or whether we're actually doing all right at the moment. It's really helpful for all of us to have this lifestyle where we have self-care, where we connect, where we move towards life. That's what is going to help. So that's the initial thing with agoraphobia. The next thing is to begin to dig deeper into where this has come from. And we only do that when you're much more solid in your foundations of who you are and what's going on, that understanding of what's happening. And so what I do is we look at finding, where has this come from? Where does this feeling, where did it first start? And then we start to reframe it. So I always remember my tutor that I learnt with talking about a lady that he worked with who had agoraphobia, and she couldn't leave her bedroom. She'd been in her bedroom for a really long time, and he went to visit her. He did a house call, and it turns out her husband was really not a nice person. And so every time she would go out, he was very controlling, but a narcissist really. She did really well to get help for it at all, I think. And actually, when the relationship ended and she was free of him, there was no need for that protective behaviour. And she got to a place where she began to gradually be able to go out of her room, out of her house, and out into the world. So that can give you, that's not for everyone, but that's an example, which I hope helps a little bit. So there's different stages of getting help, but certainly do get help, because it's not something that you have to be stuck with for forever. So good morning to everyone who's joining us. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening if you're in New Zealand, which some people are. So you're really welcome here. I know that I talk a lot. I try to cover things and do my best to help. So my apologies if I ramble on. I try not to, but that's just who I am, and I just do my best. So please forgive me. If you have questions that you want to ask and I don't see your question, it's not that I am ignoring you at all. They come through thick and fast, and I'm blind as a bat without my glasses on, and sometimes you press the thing and they go boom, and they're gone. So you're always welcome to email me at my website, which is sarah@sarahayres.com, and I will do my best. I had loads of emails last time, and I answer all of them. I work my way through them, so do email if I don't answer your question here and now. So I'm sort of randomly picking questions to answer. So, am I a doctor? Pinani Dasani 420 said, no, I'm not a doctor. I'm a Quest cognitive hypnotherapist. I'm trained to be a therapist. And there are lots of things I don't work with. So I wouldn't dream of working with real psychiatric illness. But I do work with people who are suffering from anxiety, people who have fears, people who are have depression. But I'm very careful about who I work with, and I make sure that I don't work with people who have illnesses or issues that are beyond my skill set, because that would not be right. So let's have a look. So W. London Mama, how to control intrusive thoughts, always about something awful happening to my kids. Gosh, that's a really good question, and I'm sure that is something that a lot of us have, whether it's about our kids, about our partners, about our parents. Those thoughts of, oh, what if something awful happens? What if they die? What if they're injured? You know, especially when your children get older and they're going out, going to parties, maybe getting in cars with other people, and it's that sense of, oh, I am out of control of this situation. And for me personally, I had this when I've got two boys, they're in their 20s now, but when they were in their teens and they were starting to go out, I would have sleepless nights waiting for them to come back in and wondering, am I going to get that phone call? And I think it's a sense, for me, what worked for me was a sense of being in the moment, bringing myself back, calming myself, doing the physical exercises that I share to help my nervous system understand that all is well right now. It's almost as if you have like a little bubble of, okay, this is me and all is well here and now, and this is the only thing I can control. Because it's like right now, so my son is in Bali, and I have no idea what he's doing right now, and I have no control over what happens to him. And either all will be well or it will not be. And if anything bad happens, I kind of came to this conclusion that if anything bad was to happen, I would deal with it. I don't lead a charmed life. None of us lead charmed lives. Sometimes really awful things happen. And if they do, then we will deal with them. But us worrying about them, like me having a sleepless night, wasn't going to help anyone. And I just came to that conclusion of, if I can practice being in the here and now and trust my children, trust that the people I love will be okay. Because most of the time, the vast majority of the time, they are all right, Most of the time, most of us live our lives. We have those adventures and those escapades that we tell our parents about like years afterwards. And you go, oh my God, I'm glad I didn't know about that at the time. And then all is well. And so I thought to myself, okay, either everything will be fine and I'll hear them come in at 1-2 o'clock in the morning and I'll go, phew, all is well, they're fine, they're going to bed and it's great. In which case, there's no point in me worrying. I could as well just go to sleep and sleep well. Or I'll get a phone call or a knock on the door. And then I'll have stuff that I really need to be, thinking clearly with, to deal with. And touch wood, nothing like that has ever happened. But it made me think, right, I need to settle myself and get to sleep. So those intrusive thoughts, things that will be helpful on my page. EFT, so there's a whole thing about tapping. EFT can be really helpful with that. This technique, which is pinned, breath techniques can be really helpful. And meditation actually can be helpful. That sense of like my mind is gone, it's off thinking in worst case scenario. And then just going, okay, bring it back and just think about my breathing. Think about my back on my bed, my feet on the floor, that kind of thing. So I hope that helps a little bit. Gosh, thank you. I can see people are following me. It's always lovely. Thank you so much for following me and for likes. I really appreciate it. It's really kind of you. Goat Goat Farm, you sent me a rose. Thank you, that's lovely. Okay, so another one, Ma to me. Why do I get an instant stomachache when my anxiety hits? Is every time. What can I do to stop it? Well, that's such a good question, because you're absolutely right. That is a really common symptom of anxiety. And what's happening there is that your nervous system is constantly scanning your environment, and it's looking, your nervous system is basically your unconscious, and it's scanning from the moment that you're born, looking for threats so that it can help you survive, it can help protect you. And if it sees something, if it notices something or is aware of something that is a real threat, or it believes to be a threat, or it matches with something that was a threat in the past, then it will immediately react to keep you safe. And part of that is a huge release of adrenaline and cortisol. And that is that feeling in your tummy. It's that, feeling, you know? And to be honest with you, there's not... That's going to happen because that is a completely normal, natural thing, because the release of the adrenaline allows your heart to beat more quickly, the blood to go to your big muscles so that you can run away or you can fight your way out. And sometimes it will change your blood pressure and your breathing will change and everything. What I always say is to think about your life as like a whole journey, a pathway of not dealing with stuff in a crisis moment, but actually providing an environment of safety for yourself, so that you have a routine of keeping those stress hormones really nice and low. So you're in that place where life is a bit slower, a bit calmer. So you're doing the stuff every day of breath work, of meditation, of connecting with nature, connecting with people, connecting with exercise, with creativity, with learning, so that you're down here. And then if anything does happen, you will get a little spurt of adrenaline, but it's not that chronic thing that stays with you and really hurts. That's what I would say, is to sort of have a look at thinking, how can I be that person who's that calm, slow, stoic person? So I feel for you, because it really does hurt. Anxiety can be really painful. It's horrible. Let's have a look. Just looking for some nice comments. So Katrina Plosnies. Hello. Can anxiety make you believe and feel things are 1,000 times worse than they already are? Well, I would say yes to this, because overthinking is part of anxiety. Because although that you're plunged straight into the physical response, what happens is our cognitive brain takes a little bit, but it catches up and it starts to make sense, or what it thinks is making sense of what's happening. And we tend to overthink and start going on about, okay, what is worst case scenario here? What if this happens? What if... I bet all of you have that in your head at times when you go, what if this happens? What if that happens? And what if that happens? It's such a horrible thing. And it's never, what if everything is brilliant and everyone's safe and we're all really happy and just live together happily for the rest of our lives? That is never in our heads, is it? It's all about, what if this terrible thing happens? So, what our brain is doing there is trying to help us, because if we can simulate, if we can imagine worst case scenario, we're ready for it, you know. And actually at times it can be really helpful, because you think to yourself, okay, all right, so what is worst case scenario? With my clients, quite often I say to them, okay, so this is best case scenario and this is worst case scenario. And we tend to think it's black and white, that it's either everything's going to be fine and dandy or everything's going to be awful. But that's not really true, because there's millions of scenarios that can happen. So it's much more really about looking at worst case, look at it and go, yeah, okay, so what is worst case? Is that true? Can that ever really happen? And a lot of the time it will be ridiculous, you know, like a meteor crashing into the earth or something. So you can go, okay, well, I can dismiss that. That is not actually true. But what about this one? Like, you know, like what if something awful might happen to my son? Well, yes, that could happen. So what can I do about that? Well, I can get him insurance. I can talk to him, and as the children are growing up, talk to them about safety, talk to them about drugs, talk to them about alcohol, talk to them about being aware of their environment and surrounding themselves with safe people. What to do if anything, so you know, I've done my best to help them in that scenario. So all of a sudden, this worst case scenario is not as likely. So you're just working your way up to get as close to best case as you can. Now, life is out of our control, but we can control our actions. And so, although it feels like it's 1,000 times like, oh, the worst, when you break it down, a lot of those can be totally crossed off your list. They're never going to happen. And the ones that might happen, you can take control over it. And that can be helpful, because once we start to take control, if we take action and we go, okay, so this is a possibility. So what can I do about that? Then that can be really helpful. Because if we're in control, if we take action and take control, then we go, oh, I feel much safer now. And if we're safe, we don't need fight or flight, which is anxiety. So I hope that helps a little bit. Let's have a look. So just reading. Oh, Amanda Jane 27, you accidentally burnt your hand today and you went into panic. Oh gosh, well, I feel for you, because that hurts, doesn't it? And it's normal. It's, anxiety is a normal thing, and panic is a normal thing. If something bad happens, if you burn yourself, or if you have an accident, you immediately are flooded with adrenaline, and that is and cortisol, and that's the thing that can make you feel panicky, make you feel shaky. I don't know if you've ever been in a car crash or something difficult has happened, and you can't control the shaking, and that is the adrenaline coursing through your body. So all of these things, to know that they're temporary, and that you will get through them. They feel horrible when you're going through them, but I'm sure that you will have come through, or you'll be working your way through the other side of that. So I hope your hand's all right. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Okay, so Brooke Ella says, I'm going travelling by myself for 2 months on Monday. Is it normal to feel anxious about this? Yeah, absolutely, because it's a new thing, It's a brand new thing. How exciting, though. There's the thing about, there's a very thin line, isn't there, between anxiety and excitement. And because with both of those, we get the release of adrenaline. We get that sort of feeling. But with anxiety, it's because we're sort of anticipating maybe things might go wrong. We're looking at this, what's the worst case scenario? What might happen to me? With excitement, we're much more up here with best case scenario. And for me, like when my son went travelling, I felt really anxious about him going travelling, particularly by himself. I was imagining him staying in all these dives, and it was awful, and meeting terrible people that were going to do awful things. But actually what really helped was more information, and to look at, when I looked at where he was staying, I was thinking, oh, I fancy that. That looks lovely. I didn't know Thailand was like that. He only stayed in hostels, but my Lord, what a lucky man he is. So, it's normal because it's new, and anything new can feel uncertain. So more information can help. And once you actually get there and you're taking action and you're travelling and you're meeting new people, then I bet you'll have just the best time. Where are you going? Let me know where you're going, because I'm excited for you. That's the thing. Have a thing. Deal with be practical about the stuff that you need. Get insurance, that kind of stuff. But also look at all the good stuff that you're going to be doing, and allow yourself to feel those feelings. It's all right. It's normal. Okay. So I get so Lynette Santos, I get extreme paranoia with anxiety when it's very heightened. Feels like something bad will happen. Again, I think that's probably a little bit about, like when I was saying, so it's not really, well, if it's paranoia, it's paranoia, but actually maybe there's some sort of sense to it, that your brain is looking at worst case scenario and thinking, well, what if this happens? And maybe that would help for you to make a list of all of your thoughts, of all the stuff that, oh, I'm thinking this might go wrong, and tick off, like cross off the ones that you just think, no, that's not really realistically going to happen, and look at if the stuff could potentially happen, what can you do to mitigate that? I hope that helps a little bit. Jenna Barrett says, I want to sit in the sun and enjoy myself, but I'm petrified of wasps. Any advice? Okay, so that is horrible, isn't it? Wasps. Why are wasps even in the world? I mean, I can totally see bees. I love bees and butterflies and insects generally, but wasps, especially when you're trying to have lunch outside and they're, you know. So I would say, I've been watching, I don't know if you've seen it, I can't even remember what channel it's on, but there's this thing called The Bees Are, and he says, be like a tree, because trees don't get stung. And what happens with these things is that they can sense that fear, the what's it called? The pheromones that we emit when we're afraid. And I don't know why, but they come to you for that, or maybe if you're eating, they like the sweetness of stuff. So I would say it's definitely worth going to see someone about that. If you feel like it's really ruining your enjoyment of the summer and being outside, go and see someone. I mean, I always think a cognitive hypnotherapist or a hypnotherapist can be really helpful, because it helps your brain reframe your understanding, and we can look at where has this come from, because it will have come from an event, whether it was you being stung, someone else being stung, seeing a TV program when you were little. So definitely, it's well worth getting it checked out, because then you can just be totally calm about, a wasp comes, a wasp flies around, and then a wasp goes, So I hope that helps a little bit. Some of the breathing stuff can help you as well to feel calmer. This thing here that's pinned on my page can be helpful to help you be in the moment. So just welcome to everyone who's arriving. It's really lovely to have you here. Thank you for joining us. And again, this is hopefully a safe community, a safe space. I help by my lovely moderators there's Lynn 250, there's Jasmine Lake, I've got Vicky Hodson, Vicky Handlebars, Zanshin. We're all here to keep this nice and safe. So you're really welcome to be here. And I try to answer as many questions as I can. If you have questions, feel free to email me at sarah@saraheris.com, and I will get back to you as soon as I can with an answer. Let me have a look. Yeah, so summer, you want to see summer, there's lots of people are afraid of wasps and things, bees and flies and stuff like that. Sarah Rainey Day said, I'm glad you changed your username. I was so glad to change my username. I'm not even going to say what it used to be, but I changed it, and then I looked at it and I thought, oh no, I can't believe I put that as my username. It was so bad. And then I had to wait a month. You have to wait 30 days to be able to change it. So soon I was like up at 6 o'clock in the morning changing my username to Sarah Therapy. Anyway, you live and learn, don't you? Okay. Let's have a look. So, China Doll XX88. Hi, I'm currently suffering from depression and grieving. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for your loss. It's a very difficult time, isn't it? When you lose someone that you love, it's completely normal and natural to feel really low. And you're not alone in that, but it can feel a very lonely place. I did a couple of posts yesterday about low mood and depression, and it wasn't necessarily about grief, but I think it's entirely natural to feel very low, because it's almost, when you lose someone, it's a traumatic event, and it's as though your whole world changes, but everyone around you just carries on. And I remember when my dad died, looking and thinking, how on earth can you possibly be living normally when my whole world has fallen to pieces, you know? So I hope that you're okay. I would say that looking after the practical side of things, you know, talking to people if you can. I don't know if you've seen a grief counsellor, but seeing someone who is, you know, has experience in helping people who are going through bereavement can be really, really helpful. And it's well worth looking into that. There are lots of charities that are connected with bereavement, with grief, and of course with feeling depressed. Please don't struggle by yourself though. It's very easy to lock ourselves away and feel like no one wants to know about this, no one wants to talk to me, no one will understand, people will judge me. But that's not necessarily true. I think if everyone on this page, if you had a loved one come to you and say, I'm really struggling right now, I'm feeling really down and really just awful, all of us would do our absolute level best to help them, wouldn't we? We don't judge others as we judge ourselves. So do reach out, don't struggle by yourself. It will change over time, but everyone's different, so it does take time. It's a case of just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Lots of self-care, lots of rest and self-compassion. So take care, and I feel for you. Let me have a little look here. Let's have a look. Yeah, so Sarah Rainy Day says talking about the person you've lost helps too, even when it feels difficult at first. It's so true. It's almost as though, you know, when we lose someone, it's so important to remember them and talk about them, and, you know, not just the bad times but the good times too, because they're still there. They're still there in our heart, in our memory, in so many ways, and it is really important to talk with them. Yeah, actually you can talk with them. I know, you know, when my dad died and I'd sit here of an evening, and it was almost like I could feel him with me, like I could feel he was on the... I'd feel a bit daft, but I'd go, you're here, aren't you? You're on that sofa. I know that you're here. And I would chat with him. I don't know. I'm not sure if I believe all that kind of stuff, but it just felt right at the time. So yeah, do talk, do share. Don't lock it all up inside yourself. Farm girl from Tennessee, how lovely. In Serbia, mental health is treated like a joke. Oh gosh. So I had 3 attempts of... I can't see your thing. Maybe you're taking your life. So I'm really sorry to hear that. It's absolutely not a joke. I mean, I know I've had people criticise me in the past because I do tend to sort of smile and laugh a lot in my, now, like in my videos and everything. But that's absolutely not me taking mental health lightly. It's incredibly important and serious, and that's one of the reasons that I do these videos and I have this page and I do the work that I do, because I don't think there's enough help out there, and people do need help and support. And just knowing that you're not alone. I think coming on this live, you can see how many people are here. You can see over time how many people come on my page, and there'll be other pages as well, and it's incredibly important. That's why it's so important that we have this kind, caring community and we care for each other. That really matters to me. I'm sure it does to you too. Missy B902, why is anxiety so crippling for some people? So thank you for that. That's a really good question. And you're right, anxiety is a normal thing. We all experience it at times, and generally, you know, you have a thing, like you have an exam coming up, or something is, you know, someone you love is ill and you're anxious about that, and there's a real reason for it, and it's a thing that happens, and once the event or the environment is over, then the anxiety will go away. But there are times where, you know, people suffer from anxiety chronically, like, you know, for a long time, for many years, and that is for all sorts of reasons. You know, it's I always say to the people that come to work with me that although the symptoms of anxiety are very similar amongst people, the reasons why we feel anxious, they're so different for every single person. Everyone is unique. There's a different reason for every single person. And sometimes it's our brain. So if something happens, if something happened when you were 4, for example, and it can be as simple as a dog barking at you and you feeling really scared, or a teacher telling you off, or feeling unseen, unheard, I don't know, also, you know, whatever it is, it can be quite a simple thing or it can be a massive thing, but our brain, our nervous system takes over and tries to protect us, tries to help us to survive, and triggers a fight or flight response, and we survive that moment, but our brain is constantly surveying our environment, looking for similar stuff, looking for matches. And if our matches are everyday things, then we're triggered every day. We can be triggered constantly, and so you've got that level of stress hormone that's up here, and then the physical symptoms that go along with that. And so that's why, you know, it can just be such a hard thing to cope with. And I think that for me personally, I'm not a doctor, so I don't ever give advice about medication at all, but I really feel that medication needs to go along with talking therapy. Medication is amazing and it can be incredibly helpful, and but I think that if you just have medication, then it's not as helpful as having talking therapy as well, because the medication can calm the symptoms down, but the talking therapy can get to the root of what's going on and help you understand. So many people that I work with, I say, so what do you know about anxiety? And they don't really know, and so to know more about it, to inform yourself and to have practical techniques to help yourself is really helpful. So okay, so Be Kind Love Too. Oh, what a lovely name. Hello Sarah, nice to meet you here. Do you work with people here in the States? I do, yeah. I work with, I'm currently working with a couple of people in the States, and also, yeah, I've worked with people in Australia, I've worked with people all over the world, and that's the wonderful thing about Zoom. So yes, that's the answer to your question. Let's have a look. So Leo Energy 994. Do you have any suggestion how to help with health anxiety? So health anxiety, I always think health anxiety is a real, well, excuse my French, but it's a real bugger. You know, it's really hard because you get, with anxiety, you get the physical symptoms of anxiety. Then it's a double whammy when your brain takes hold of that and goes, okay, this must mean X, Y, Z. And so it's not that you're just dealing with the symptoms and the root of the anxiety, you're also dealing with what your brain is making of the physical symptoms of the anxiety. And it may well be that you are, you are actually going through physical stuff, that you are suffering from an illness, and, you know, again, that's loaded on top. So I think it's well worth seeing someone if you're suffering from health anxiety. I think to start with, it can be really helpful to do all the stuff that I talk about, the environment of safety, informing yourself about anxiety and what's happening, using the physical techniques to bring your system down to this slow, steady level, so that you're doing things which give you the release of the good hormones. I mean, all the hormones are good. They're all there for a reason. But, the hormones that actually send your nervous system the message that you're safe, all is well. To start with doing that and see the difference that it makes. Because if you're not having the physical symptoms, if you can lower the level of anxiety so that you're not suffering from the physical symptoms, then there's nothing for your cognitive brain to hang on to and go, this means this or this means that. So start with that, but it also can be helpful to go and see someone, a therapist, a doctor, the person of your choice really, to dig down a bit deeper and find out where has this come from. So I hope that helps a little bit. I have done, there's a video on health anxiety. I think there's a category on my profile you might find a bit helpful. So Isabella Chaz, 0. I have such severe social anxiety that I struggle to even make eye contact. So, I'm sorry to hear that. It's so difficult, isn't it? Social anxiety is that we all, as human beings, we need to fit in. We need to feel accepted and seen and heard. We need social connection. If you think of us as nervous systems on legs, I always think of it as like two little legs with like spaghetti on the top, just reaching out, trying to connect with the world to get the signals to reassure us that we're okay. And if we can't do that, if we've had an experience at some point in our lives that has made our nervous system believe that social connection is not good, is not healthy, or is even a threat to us, then we're totally cutting off that resource from ourselves. So, as you say, that probably on a certain level that being able to connect with someone, to make eye contact, to connect with them, and for you to be connected together, I would imagine that you probably know that that's a good thing in certain levels, but also your system's telling you, no, it's not a good thing, it's a bad thing, this is awful. And we need to fit in as well, because historically we're hardwired to have, we're a herd animal, that social connection, we're safe within the herd. And if you think about, ancient times when we were living in caves, being in the cave with our community was a safe place to be, because we had shelter, we had food, we had fire, we had protection. And if we didn't fit in with our community, then we might be thrown out of the cave, and being thrown out of the cave means death, doesn't it? So there's all this stuff going on in the background. So with social anxiety, again, it's really well worth going to see someone. There's lots of really practical techniques like mirroring and matching and learning what's going on, so that you just take those small steps. So you start off with your green zone, your comfort zone can be quite small, and then thinking, okay, is it all right? Can I do one-to-one? Can I do a small group? Can I do a big group? What's the best way for me to just expand my green comfort zone a little bit? And how can I, in the meantime, use coping techniques to just help my nervous system feel calm, so that we take a tiptoe into the amber zone, and then we tiptoe back, and it's evidence that, okay, I managed to do that and it was safe. And over time, with safe people, you can do that thing, you can practice that that connection eye to eye and so on. So yeah, don't despair, because this is something, we're all on a learning curve, aren't we? None of us are perfect, and we've all got stuff going on, and it's just about learning and growing and helping ourselves in the best way we can do. I always say to my clients, a really good question when life is tricky is to say to oneself, what can I do about this? What can I do? Because there'll always be something, even if it's just a small thing. So let's have a look. So just scrolling through some of the questions. It's so lovely to have everyone here. I really appreciate you being here, and it's just lovely. Oh, Isabella, Chaz, thank you. I'm really glad that was helpful. They scroll through so quickly, and sometimes I wonder whether it's helpful or not. So I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you. So Maya, yours. What can I do about dizziness from anxiety? That's such a good question. Dizziness is something that can really happen with anxiety, and it happens because So I've talked before about the way that our heart rate changes, that our heart tends to beat more quickly, our breathing changes, and because of that, because of the change perhaps in blood pressure, and perhaps because of the change in our breathing, we can feel really dizzy and perhaps faint. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to faint because you feel dizzy at all, and so it can be completely normal. Most of the time it will be. I always say, if you have any physical symptoms at all, always go and get it checked out by your doctor just to make sure. And once you know that, this is perhaps down to my breathing changing or my heart rate changing, then you can work. There's lots of breath techniques and physical techniques, again, which always they're working to just bring yourself down over time to this sort of steady level of calmness, so that you're kind of not taken by surprise by stuff. You're able to have that space between something happening. Instead of something happens, your levels are up here and you go, oh, and you react. It gives you a little bit of ability to have a space, so something happens, you respond. There's a difference. Can you see what I mean? And it's not always possible, but the dizziness can be helped by breath techniques. Quite often, well, when we're anxious, we tend to breathe up here quite a lot, and we tend to hold our breath a lot. And so if we can get into a daily practice of breath work, so we're breathing from our tummy, and by that, so I'm going to stand up. So if you hear your tummy, so if you have your hands on your tummy, and if you're breathing up here, then your hands won't. So I'll stop talking for a minute and I'll do it. So if you breathe from your throat up here really shallowly, my hands don't move. If I breathe from my tummy, from my diaphragm, my hands will part. So I'll go. Can you see the difference? That's quite a good way of working out how your breathing is. So just sitting, if you're sitting on the sofa watching the telly, and just go, I'm just going to check my breathing. Don't get too obsessed with it, but it's just a nice thing to do nice, slow, steady breathing. There's lots of apps, of those circles that go. Breathing through your nose is a good thing too, rather than through your mouth. So I hope that helps a little bit. So let's have a look. There's so many questions. I love that you ask so many questions, and I'm trying to work my way through. Let's have a little look. Let's have a look. Oh, I'm just seeing, because oh gosh, I'm trying to pick a thing that hopefully will help lots of people. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Hang on. Okay. So, that's a good question, Amanda Jane, 27. Is short-term memory loss associated with anxiety? Sometimes if I'm anxious, I can't remember basic stuff. I imagine it was cut off. So you are absolutely right that short-term memory loss can be part of anxiety. Short-term memory loss, and also when you can't find your words, when you're like, So what happens again is when you're thrown into fight or flight, the blood is, instead of going just calmly into all your bits of your body, what happens is that it is sent to your big muscles, and your heart beats quickly, sends it to your big muscles so that you can run away, you can escape, you can fight, and some of it is diverted away. Obviously you've still got blood going to your brain, of course you have, but it's diverted away from the systems that are not essential in that moment, and part of that is your working memory and speech and language. And so that's why that happens. So it is completely normal and natural. And if you can have strategies to just understand that will pass, give yourself time, do breath work perhaps, then that can be really helpful. So don't worry. Try not to worry about that. That is pretty normal. Yes, so that's a good point. So is this why you can never say what you mean in a stressful argument? Yes. Do you know that thing where you're like, you're really angry, because anger is part of the fight bit of fight or flight, and you like this, when someone has made you so angry and you just so want to tell them what you want to say and you can't get the words out, that is part of that too, which is very, very irritating sometimes. So Gomez 1986, I can't sleep at night thinking about a lot of bad things keep happening to me, what can I do? So that's difficult, isn't it? Don't you find that? I bet all of you will find this, that you have a day, and whether it's a good day or a bad day, whatever, you get to night time and you get to bed and your brain goes ding, and it's all the bad stuff, it's all the stuff you've got to do, it's all the stuff that might go wrong. It's just so annoying when you just want to sleep. And there's loads of things that you can do about this. I mean, I find, technique wise, I find tapping is really useful. There's videos about this on my page. There's a category about tapping on my page. Also stuff like, there's a spinning thing, there's a spinning technique which can be really helpful. Practical stuff like writing down a list, as I was mentioning earlier, thinking, okay, what is all this stuff in my brain? I'm going to write it all down, seal it up in an envelope and go, right, I'm putting that to one side, I will deal with that in the morning. And the chances are that you get to the morning and you undo the envelope and you go, what on earth was I thinking? This is just, it's incredible how a night's sleep can help you just get back to a steadier place. So also breath work can be really helpful with that. So instead of being in your head, because a lot of the time we're in our head, aren't we, overthinking, and so to connect with our bodies, to do a body scan can be really helpful. So you start from the top of your head and just be with each part of you, just work your way through all the different muscles. There's stuff that I share, you can request from my website about like there's free downloads, and one of them is a body scan, I do believe. It's been a while since I did it, but a body scan which just helps you gradually relax all of those muscles. Usually I get to about my tummy and I'm gone, I'm asleep. So I think the thing is to not try to sleep, just try to go, okay, it's all right, thank you nervous system, you're trying to help me. And again, do that whole worst case scenario, best case scenario, trying to realise this is probably never going to happen, and I can just dismiss this, I can tick this off, put it in my envelope, cross it off, and tomorrow I'm going to work out how to get to these in-between scenarios maybe. So I hope that's helpful to you. I'm sure you're not alone in experiencing that feeling. So we're kind of getting close to the end. This is just an hour. My lives are always an hour, and I do my lives on a Monday and a Friday, varying times. My next live will be on Monday, and I haven't decided the time yet, but I will post it. And so you're really welcome to come along. If you have questions, do you can email me them, and I'll make a note and I'll cover that thing for my live if you'd like me to do that. Let me have a look. I'll see if I can answer maybe one or two more questions. Oh, another thing I was going to say is that I have been recently, all of my lives, I can download them, and what I've done is I've put them on my YouTube channel, so they are there. So if you haven't got time, if you're on your lunch break and you're like, oh, I haven't got time to be watching a whole hour of this, if you want to, you can go to my YouTube channel, which is linked to on my profile page, and you can watch it with a cup of tea and pause it, go and do something else, come back, watch a bit more. And I'll put this one up later today, hopefully, so you can see that. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Oh, Laura, thank you so much. I really appreciate that you've enjoyed this live, so thank you. Hannah Thomas, thank you. I'm so glad to see you again here. It's lovely, lovely to have you. I love seeing, it's the same people coming again and again, and it's so interesting to get to know you. I love it. So you're so welcome. Oh yeah, and so Ange says the body scan works for me. It's a really helpful thing, I think. So let's have a look. Just thinking about. So Gay for Robin Street Saint. How to ask your mum for help with social anxiety. Oh, it's hard, isn't it? Hard. Depends on your mum, doesn't it? Depends on the relationship you have with your mum. I would say mums love us. Talking as a mum, I would do anything to help my boys, and so it can feel really hard to reach out for help, but a lot of the time what we're anticipating is not going to happen. Actually, the people that we reach out for help to totally want to help us. So it's about sort of being brave, taking a deep breath. If you find it's really hard to talk and go, Mum, this is what I'm worried about, you can always write a little note to her and say, listen, I need to talk to you about something and it's really, really hard for me. If your mum is just not the person, because it's a difficult relationship that you have with her, then, it's really, I think it's maybe looking at people who you can really trust, that you do feel safe with. But give it a go. You might well be surprised at her response, that she'll be kind and help you. And maybe she might not have all the answers, We don't have all the answers as mums, but perhaps she can help you to find the answers to help you a bit more, And do have a look around my page and see the help and advice and videos and resources that I've got, which hopefully can help you. But don't despair, because you're not alone with social anxiety. It's completely normal, and it's definitely something that, we all get better at it. Like, I know when I was 18, I always remember having a chat with a friend of my mum's about how shy I was and how I was just afraid of how to be in social situations. And now when I think about how I feel, and I know myself so much more now, and I'm much more comfortable in who I am. And that's 40 years of, I'm not saying it's going to take you 40 years to get to that place, but it's a journey we all go through, sort of aiming to be the best we can be, and knowing that we're never going to be perfect. So good luck. Let me know how it goes. So I feel like one more. I did say one. I'm going to do one more. Oh my God, George, my son is here in the live. Lynn, thank you. Oh my God, so Geo Eris. Oh my God. Georgie, welcome. Oh my God. Oh, you can tell I adore my sons, and my Georgie is in Bali. Yay! I'm so glad you're here. Lynn, thank you for doing your caps, because I wouldn't have noticed if you'd not have shown me. So thank you, Lynn. And George, it's so lovely to see you. Have you been here for the whole life? I don't know. You have to tell me later. But oh, that's so nice. Yeah, Hannah Thomas, Sarah's son, is in the live. He's Geo Aris. So go and have a look at his Instagram, because not his Instagram, his TikTok, because he's got lovely pictures of where he's been. It's so nice. Welcome, Georgie. He's probably having a hell of a day. He's probably been lying on the beach, doing a bit of surfing. Life is hard when you're backpacking. Anyway, let me do just one last question, and then I'll... Oh, not Nikki at all says, I want you to be my grandma. Oh, thanks. I'm not sure whether I like that or not. I thought it was looking particularly glamorous today. But I'll be your grandma anytime. Oh gosh. Honestly, don't worry, it's fine. I am quite old. Let's have a look. Yeah, go and follow Geo Aris if you fancy. He's my boy. Let's have a look. So one. My mother phones me. So this is one last thing. So Daniel Morris says, my mother phones me every day. I'm struggling so much I don't answer her. Okay, so I'm just wondering how far away you are, because sometimes it's hard on the phone, isn't it? Sometimes we need face-to-face. Sometimes we actually need to be with someone. And so I would say, she's your mum. She obviously knows something is kind of not right with you. So that's maybe the reason she's phoning you every day. If you have a good relationship with your mum and if you're struggling, tell her. Talk to her and tell her what's going on. She's your mum. She's not going to judge you. She's going to want to help you and support you. And it's okay to struggle. We all struggle. I mean, I struggle. My George is my kind of, I chat to him when I have stuff that's difficult for me. I chat to my other son when he's around. He's never around either. Blimey. And it's a two-way street, but it's so important that we have that communication. And although it feels really scary to open up and be vulnerable, it's so important that we do. What's the worst thing that can happen if you answer the phone to your mum, or if you go round and see her and let her know how you're feeling? What is the worst thing that can happen to any of us if we actually allow ourselves to be vulnerable and ask for help? The best thing is that we're going to get help and we're going to start feeling better. There's a fantastic TED Talk by Brené Brown about vulnerability. So do look that up. It's Brené Brown, so Brene Brown. And it's vulnerability. It's on YouTube. And she talks about how important it is to allow ourselves to be vulnerable, that we tend to have this sense of being vulnerable is weak, and it's not, because unless we can open ourselves up to the difficult stuff in life, to share with people when we feel down or we feel that life is hard, unless we're able to do that, we're never going to be able to fully enjoy the good stuff too. So it's a balance of I can be open and vulnerable and share how I feel, and that opens me up to grief and to pain and to feelings, and also at the same time it opens me up to joy and connection and love. And so it's just so important that we open up. So that fear that you feel about answering the phone to your mum, or going around to see her, or talking to someone else who can help you if you're struggling, that fear is not necessarily is trying to protect you. It's not necessarily doing it in the best way. So my advice would be, answer the phone, reach out to her, or write to her, send her something, go round, and I hope that you're okay. I hope you don't struggle, and you can get help. So, righty-ho, lovely people. Thank you so much for being here. It has been so lovely. I enjoy these lives so much. I hope you do too. I hope that you find them helpful. I'm so sorry if I haven't answered your particular question, but I really mean it when I say to get in contact, and I will answer any questions that you have. This weekend is a crazy weekend for me. I'm having a day trip to Devon with my mum tomorrow on a steam train, and then Sunday I'm doing a race for charity. I'm doing running. So it may well not be until Monday that I can get back to you, but I will do my absolute best. So thank you so much. Thank you more than words can say to my moderators who give up their time, who volunteer to be here to keep this a safe space. To Lynn, to Vicky, to Zanshin, to other Vicky. I've got Vicky Hodgson, Vicky Handlebars, beautiful Jasmine Lake as well. You're all incredibly supportive, and so thank you very much indeed. Next one will be Monday. You're really welcome to come and join me. If you haven't caught the whole thing and want to, it'll be on YouTube. And you take care of yourselves, keep safe, be kind to yourselves, and I will see you soon. I'm hanging around just to have a look at any last little comments, just so I don't miss anything. But you take care. You take care. Oh. Oh. Thank you, Lynn. I'm hoping I'll do all right on Sunday. My hamstring is not good, so I'm... Have a lovely weekend, everyone. Oh. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Oh. Okay. I'm going to go. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. I just really, really, really appreciate you being here. Thank you, and I'll see you soon. And Georgie, I love you.